So what was life like before the incident? What were you working at?
I worked as a refrigeration engineer, doing commercial refrigeration for shopping centres and so on, and air conditioning systems, and I've been working for 20 years.
20 years, okay, yeah.
20 years at that, and I just thought, normal day, go into work, do my job and go home at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And that didn't happen.
No, and what was, just how old were you at the time when the incident, you were married with a couple of kids?
38, 2 daughters, 5 and 8. And, life was grand. We were just, like everybody, just walking away, going into work, meeting the people you work with, doing your job through the day, and go home at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen for me.
On this particular day?
July 2011, I was working at Heights, and the footing of the ladder gave way. There was a chap holding it, and he, just for a split second, he walked away. But within that split second, the footing of the ladder gave way.
Yeah.
And started to slide. I fell about 6 feet, and I landed dead straight, rigid, and I felt my ankle. I'd done some damage to it.
Yeah.
But as that happened, next while I just seen the ladder coming, aluminium ladder, and the rung of the ladder hit the ankle, and done some really bad damage, and I fell to the ground in pain. And an ambulance was called. I was brought into St. James's Hospital.
Yeah.
And literally took some x-rays, so on, and had to wait till the following morning in hospital to see the doctor, stroke surgeon, to see what was going on. And he said, you've done some real damage to your leg. You've broken the tibia, fibula in the leg. But he says it's a compound fracture, but there's actually bits of bone scattered around the bottom of the leg because of the impact of the ladder.
So what exactly were you doing on the day of the incident? What was the sort of the scene?
I was repairing a fan motor on like an extension of a building, and I'd finished doing the job, and I was on the ladder about 6 feet off the ground, and I was handing my tools and some equipment down to the chap that was footing the ladder. And as I say, just for that split second, as he walked away, that's when the ladder gave way.
He was footing the ladder for you, and you just walked away to put some tools down.
Yeah.
It slipped out. Such an easy mistake. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you just assume nothing's going to happen. You know, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
You think no, everything's fine. It's not going to happen to me. That doesn't always happen. Well, when you're used to getting up, going to work, people you deal with every day, people you're on phone calls to, so on and so forth. When something like this happens to you, that all stops. It's gone away. You know, for whatever about the 5 weeks in hospital, when I got out of hospital and I was at home, like the kids were going to school, luckily my wife was going to work, and I was just sitting there on the couch all day. You know, barely able to get up and move about. Nobody talked. I got fed up watching reruns of Top Gear and so on and so forth. And like everybody else, and the people, as I say, the people you deal with every day, you're not talking to them anymore because they're getting on doing what they have to do. So you're kind of in a bubble on your own.
So the work friends and the colleagues, they
all stopped. No, nothing bad on them. They were just like, they'd ring how are things the odd time, but when you're sitting there day after day after day, week after week after week, it gets on top of you. You know, you feel isolated.
How was it in the family? Did they take a hold on them?
I remember one day, I'm probably for about the first week of the accident, I hadn't seen my kids because we didn't want to bring them into the hospital to see me. And of course, one day, my wife Lisa brought Kate and Alex in. And they were new. I could see on their face they were scared. They didn't know what to expect or what to see. But you know, they were okay, and they were always, when's Daddy coming home from hospital? When's Daddy going to come home? Because then I'm putting pressure on my wife, having to deal. You know, I'm not at home. I was in hospital, and she's having to pick up the pieces of everything then. Yeah. You know, so tough on them.
And when, I suppose, did you realise that you know, your air conditioning engineering career was over?
When they fitted the second frame, as called an Elizarov frame, in December, the strange thing was 2 days after they fit the frame on the leg, they actually says you can start to walk on that now and start to build the muscles back up in your leg, and we'll get you doing physiotherapy in the hospital here. But when I went into January, I had to go and do physio twice a week out in Loughlinstown Hospital. And fantastic lady out there helping me. But within a few weeks, she actually turned around and said, you won't be going back to work at what you worked at. Physically, you won't be able to do it because you've done too much damage to the leg. And probably up to that point, I believed I was going back to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, what led you into the journey that brought you into being a designer?
It was a chance meeting that I had one day with a career assessor. I had to do something else, and what she said to me was, with all your past experience, she says you should go into design or something like that. I remember Irish Water were big at the time. She was saying you could get involved in that, in design, doing drawings and so on and so forth. And that actually got me thinking then. I thought, yeah, that's a good idea. I'm used to being handed the drawings and doing the work off the drawings, so why not start creating the drawings? And she gave me a college rehab. She says, contact these because they do all their courses, and it's a college for people with mental and physical disabilities. So I went, okay, I'll look into it and see. And then I was saying to myself, God, I'm kind of going back to school here. It'd been, I'd finished school a long time and been out working, never thinking, this is something I'm going to have to, if I'm going to get to be something again, I'm going to have to go back to school.
Yeah.
And start again and learn. And, that kind of got the ball rolling for me in that sense.
Did you accept that decision straight away, or was that a tough decision or realisation to come to?
No, I think I'd accepted it. And I think what I needed from somebody was a bit of direction, as in what to do. I did want to do something. I couldn't just keep going as it was.
Yeah.
It was kind of, I did want to do something, but I needed somebody to direct me in the correct direction to do something. So contacted the college, and then went in to see them, and they said, yeah, I'd be delighted to have you in here. So I learned CAD and so on, all office skills, which when I worked on the tools and all, I never thought I'd end up working in an office. I thought I'd always be on site working. It never entered my head to think that, you're not guaranteed to go to work every day, or that you'll be able to do the same job every day till you retire, or so on and so forth. So it was a massive change to take on board. Yeah.
So, I suppose, in our company, we've obviously a lot of sites on across Ireland and Europe. So for the guys that are out there, I suppose, what message would you give to them, the guys that would be doing similar activities, working on ladders, working on height? I'd
say take your time. Don't rush. If you don't feel comfortable doing something, stop. Go talk to your supervisor or something. Don't risk it. Don't risk something for the sake of maybe, and people do it. Well, if I just do this, it'll save me 10 minutes or 15 minutes of having to set up something or go check it out. Don't do it, because things go wrong.
So even now, how's it looking now? How does it feel now, and what's the future like for the injury?
You can feel it in the bones. It's never going to go away, and I'm always going to have trouble with it. And as the surgeon, my last surgeon, said to me, he says, when you start hitting your 60s, arthritis is going to set in to your ankle, and because there's so much damage down there, the pain you're going to be in, we will have to fuse your ankle.
If I could ask you, if you were to go back to the day of the incident, what would you change? What would you do differently?
Looking back, I should have stepped back and went, hang on a sec, I'm not 100% sure about this.
Comfortable with this, yeah?
Yeah, I'm not comfortable. And as I said, if you're not comfortable, step back. If I had done that, I mightn't even be sitting here talking to you today. I'd still be working
On air conditioning units.
Yeah. You know, but you have to accept it, and you know, to look back and change it, I would say to anybody, if you're not 100% sure, if you're not comfortable, or you think you've identified a risk or something, step back.
Yeah.
Go talk to someone.
And that's the message Sure Engineering wants to get out as well. The company doesn't expect anybody to put themselves at risk. So I suppose if it doesn't feel right, you know, call your supervisor.
I say the point of us sitting here is to get that message across. You know, because if you do end up in an accident, and there's all different ways and outcomes of it. I mean, it took me years to come back around, and as I say, at the time I thought, I know I've just broken. I'll be back to work in a few months. You're not guaranteed that's going to happen.
No. 7 years later, you're starting a new career.
You know, and you know, it's had its ups and downs, and I'm glad where I am and what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But when I look back at it and think back at the time, you know, going, oh, I can't go back. What the hell am I going to do? I don't know what to do next. You know, and luckily I got advice from people, so it's worked out. But I wouldn't want anybody to go through it and having to worry financially, or you know, what am I going to work at? What am I going to do? It's a worry. It's a hard one to deal with.
Yeah.
You know.
So Alan, I just want to thank you for taking the time to tell us your story today. It's a fascinating story of how a simple incident can impact somebody's life. As Sure Engineering, safety is absolutely paramount. And just to emphasise the points that you made there, you know, to tell our workforce, you know, if they're out there in the construction site and they feel like something isn't right, it probably isn't. And just to take a step back and contact the supervisor, don't take the risk.